Hey everybody, what's up? It's Marlon again, and it's time for another video. I think going forward, I'm going to just have to try to come up with maybe a title for these videos. We do have topics, meaningful conversation, interesting subject matter, some statistics. And I do believe that these videos need a title. Anyone that has any suggestions, please send them to my Facebook Messenger, DM me, or put it on Instagram or TikTok, whatever. I'm open to suggestions, but I think a title would be nice, especially when the conversation that we have with these videos is so meaningful. All right, with these videos, I like to interject my own opinion, my own personal experiences. I'll throw in a little spirituality, some philosophy, or some theology. These videos are really designed to help us communicate in a way that enhances our conversation towards being our better selves. All right. Hopefully, we can do that with today's topic as we have with topics previous. But before I get into that, like I always like to say, and I want to acknowledge you and allow you to know that if you are going through any adverse situations at all, any complexities, any discouragements, any letdowns, or somebody was just straight up mean to you or dogged you out, I want to let you know that that's not the way that life is supposed to be. Okay, things can be better, they will get better, and in the meantime, just know that you have someone who has genuine care and concern for you and will be praying for you. There's people out there that love you and that care about you. Okay, things will get better. So let's just jump right into today's video. This is a subject that's been on my mind all last week because it's something that I was personally dealing with. All right, and the subject is about moving forward. Not moving on, but moving forward. When you think about moving on, you think about leaving something so far behind, it's in the dust. You've either dealt with it or you haven't. You just want to get as far away from that as possible. Okay, this is moving forward, meaning putting one step in front of the other, despite what you're walking away from and despite what you're walking into. You're moving forward because you have a goal in mind, a purpose. All right. And so we'll be talking about moving forward. But this is really going to have the subtopic of happiness in relationships with others, happiness with the relationship that we have with ourselves. So this was about 2006, 2007 is when I really started doing a lot of journaling. Before video, there was paper, pen and paper, or just a computer screen. And we had things called blogs, writing on the screen and letting people know what your thoughts are. Well, one of those things that I wrote was a thought that came to me, and it was called A Recipe for Happiness. I'm going to get it and show it to you on the screen. Hopefully it comes through. It may come through reverse because I have the camera forward facing. This is what it is. All right, hopefully that focused in. It's called A Recipe for Happiness. And I pretty much laid this out like an ingredient list, all right, where the main course was supposed to be happy. So what recipes or ingredients do you put together for this main course? And some of these read like this, all right? Forgive me for looking down. I'm just reading. A recipe for happiness. Live your life like you are writing a love song just for them. Love them like they were the best of three wishes. Another ingredient on this recipe for happiness. Everything stops when they start to come into focus. Say thank you. Say you're welcome. Say please. Please them. Flowers should come from the garden that you grow for them. Not just picking flowers, but giving them a garden so that they can have flowers all year round. So here's the thing about that. I wrote that in 2007, and here it is now, 2022, and I can promise you, I can acknowledge that a lot of those things that I wrote down, I didn't even take my own suggestions or my own advice. And so what was supposed to be a recipe for happiness just turned into an ingredients list of being a hypocrite, instructing and encouraging others to do one thing when I did not even do those things myself. So how does this come into talking about moving forward? Well, put it this way. We all know that being in a relationship can be challenging. Trying to find similar interests, trying to find similar topics of conversation, trying to find similar purpose. All right. And like what I heard similar today is that because things get so challenging, what human nature is today is just to move on, to quit, to give up, to just get as far away from that as possible. But guess what? When you do that, that situation is still stuck there. And who you were in that situation is still who is moving on. That situation has not been reconciled. It has not been dealt with. And because everything in the universe, from galaxies to your atomic level, everything moves in a circle. So while you think you have moved on from that, I guarantee you it's going to come back full circle so that you can deal with it. And if it's not dealt with, you can move on all you want, but you still will not be moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other and getting closer to your goal or to your purpose. So how do we move forward in being happy? How do we move forward in relating to other people and in relating with ourselves? Well, first things first, you got to do just like I did at the start of this video. You have to acknowledge that you failed. That failure, it's not a bad word. That's an acknowledgement of something did not go right. It didn't go as planned. Now I have a point of reference of what doesn't work. I can purpose to do better and find something that does. Acknowledgement is one of the first steps. Acknowledgement, taking accountability, is one of the first steps into realizing what needs to happen in order for us to have forward progress. All right. And now, so acknowledgement in a relationship experience could simply be saying, thank you. I acknowledge something that you have done for me, whatever it is, and I want you to know that I'm grateful. Thank you. Or acknowledgement can be something, 2 words. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry can be the difference between winning, losing an argument, or having a disagreement. I'm sorry can be the 2 things that makes that recipe for happiness really, really stick and fulfilling. Okay, acknowledgement. All right, and so here's another thing. You have to want to be happy. That's right. You've got to want it for yourself. I know sometimes we see, looks like other people have it all together. They smile, they laugh, they do things together, but we're not them. We don't know what they're going through. We know us. So when we can acknowledge, and if we can want our own happiness, we're not turning into parasites, sucking the happiness out of other people. You ever heard the saying that misery loves company? Well, think about it this way. Imagine misery. And I'm not talking about hurt, that what somebody's put on you. That's just wrong. I'm talking about that self-misery, that self-pity. That misery is like a hole in the ground. All right. And what ends up happening is, instead of us trying to find our own happiness to fill that void, we end up taking the happiness from somebody else and trying to fill a void that we created. Don't do that. Want to be happy for yourself. Now, ways to do that is something simple. Look in the mirror. Have more positive self-talk. All right? If somebody gives you a compliment, take it. That's the universe. That's the Lord's way of just giving you something for yourself to help you build upon. All right. So we have accountability, acknowledgement, and wanting to be happy for yourselves. Now, here's something that we can use as a tool, especially when relating with somebody. You're having a good conversation. Find something in common that you can do. Now, for some people, spiritual people, church, that's the point of reference. That's what they have in common. Athletes, they like working out, dieting, doing a particular sport together. Some people are gamers. Some people like to watch TV shows. Some people just like to people watch, okay? But find these things in common. Now, here's the thing about recipes. Sometimes you can put ingredients together that don't seem like they would go together, but you make it work. So you are involved with somebody you have not similar interests. But It's because you have a variety of different interests that makes these conversations work. And so what ends up happening is that what really interests you the most is having that conversation about so many different things. All right. I know this is a longer video than usual, but we really got to talk about these things. All right. Please take the time right now to see the video in its entirety. And again, I really pray that this information helps us to move forward instead of just moving on, taking one step in front of the other instead of just leaving something the way that it was. All right, so we talked about accountability, acknowledgement, wanting to be happy yourselves, find something interesting, and you know what? Be interested in someone. All right, we all have different experiences. Perhaps there's something that they've done or you've done that we never would have thought about or conceived of. Take an interest in what someone else is doing. You know how far having genuine care and concern for someone and them knowing about it goes? How does it feel to you when you realize that somebody takes a genuine interest in something that you do or something that you talk about? All right. And so I just need to wrap this all up for time's sake. Please take the time to go back through and look at some of these points, and hopefully it helps you out. I think one final thing that I can say about this that can help us to move forward instead of just moving on is just got to be honest. Be honest about everything that's happening. All right. Be honest whether something did not work out. Be honest and appreciative when something is working out. Be honest if you know you have to go back and apologize. Be honest if there's something that you really need to talk about and you can never think about whether it's the right time or the right thing to say. Now's the time to do that. Be honest with yourself. All right, here's two things that just popped in my mind before I finish. Remember, if you're chasing after something that's chasing after you, you're just going around in circles chasing one another, man, just stand still and just let the moment happen. Sometimes one of the best steps forward that we can take is just standing still. And here's a word of caution. If you are chasing after something or someone and it seems like that thing is getting further and further away, that means it's moving away from you. Perhaps there should be something right in front of you or to your right or to your left that you should be noticing instead of watching something move away from you. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer in there. I am not a therapist. I'm not a relationship counselor. All right. I'm not an advisor or anything like that. I am a human being who has had some experiences, and I would like to share those experiences with you. And during the course of sharing these experiences, my goal, my hope, my prayer is for us to continue to have this conversation about being our better selves. If you need to seek professional help for anything that you're doing, please do so. Okay. But this was a long conversation, longer than usual. Hopefully my radio voice didn't put any of y'all to sleep. Please drop a DM, a message, give me some suggestions for a title, and let me know whether you like this video, this length. Should I be shortened up? Should I get right to the point or whatever? I'm just looking. Your feedback helps me to be better. All right. My name is Marlon. I love you. I appreciate you. And as always, I'll be looking forward to talking to you again real soon.